Right, so let's go and enter Driftwood.
Hell no. You know what Raymond would do if he caught us?
See if the magisters are going to let us
Yeah,
through.
yeah. Guess you're right.
But even if they don't, we're level above them,
Of course
so
I'm right. Stick with me, kid.
would be fun
I
to have
won't
another
steer you wrong.
fight.
Ah, yes. One of Mary's heroes passes. Come on through, but mind the smell.
Interesting. So, because we help the bridge keeper, we actually don't have to talk. I wonder if otherwise they would attack us or something.
You ever think about running off?
You don't think?
Like
Yeah, the
Barnby
first
and
one that
Sandy?
did the Let's Play, I also did the bridge keeper
Hell
first.
no. You know
Oh,
what
well.
Raymond would do if he caught us?
Yes, I played Pathfinder
Yeah,
Kingmaker,
yeah.
and I would
Yes, you're
recommend
right.
it, but it's not as in-depth. The kingdom management is a
Of course
pain.
I'm right.
It's very hard to
Stick
get
with
the
me,
secret
kid.
ending.
I won't
But
steer
it's
you
not
wrong.
essential to get a good ending. Also, only one gay romance for you, unfortunately. But the story is good, and so are its characters. It has some good twists and famous Pathfinder characters. That sounds really nice. Also, my favorite romance was locked behind a DLC, unfortunately. Ah, sure, you told me about her. It's the tiefling, right? Or one of the tieflings? Something with K. I know that after stream
You
we
ever
talked
think
about
about
that.
running
Elike
off?
or something like that?
Barnby and Sam did.
Oh,
Hell no.
I'm
You know
right.
what
I
Raymond would
remember
do
the
if he
name.
caught us?
This is going to be a good day.
Yeah, yeah. Guess you're right.
Yeah, I also heard that if you play Kingmaker, you probably should just disable the kingdom management. So that might be an option. I don't know, it might also be that I would just
Last time I
skip
was here, I
combos.
summoned my wolf right in the tavern. All hell broke loose. Good times. Good times. I wonder if they'll remember me.
It'll be interesting to go into the tavern. Ifan is from Driftwood. I think we already talked with them in Act 2, right? Let's see.
Well now, how's my favorite god woken?
Oh. Yeah, we have lots of new dialogue options. Nice. You know, I'm curious. Can you elaborate on the tale of how you were caught by magisters?
His eyes glitter as he stands tall to tell the story, hands waving expressively. You can see it's a story he's used to telling, one he enjoys weaving for an audience.
It's not that often that you enjoy telling a story about how you get caught, but well.
So, underneath the tavern in Driftwood, there's a place I feel right at home. A delightful little hive of scum and villainy. A few months back, I was relaxing down there after a job. Just a hint of Drudene. You know, a hint.
Ah.
All of a sudden, a tiger prowls in. I jump up, but everyone else is just ignoring it. And then he picks up my scent. His eyes turn blue, and he leaps to pounce on me. A fury of claws and teeth.
I mean, if the eyes are turning blue, is it also either source summoned beast or what happened?
I flip the table and start scrambling for my crossbow. Nowhere to be found, and by now, the tiger's right on top of my eyeballs. So I do the only thing I can think of. I summon Afrit, my soul wolf. And now everybody reacts. Screaming, scrambling around, pelting for the stairs, drinks flying everywhere. And that pesky tiger? Nowhere to be seen.
Weird that the people don't react to a tiger being in the middle of there.
Turns out it was Drudene messing with me. Stronger stuff than I'm used to. Also turns out some people don't appreciate spectral wolves tearing up the place. So some people called magisters on me.
That's why he only recommends a hint of Drudene, nothing more. Oh well. Gallica was her name. Nice. Some herbal teas are great, some are not. I don't like herbal teas with anise and fennel. Peppermint tea is always okay. I think peppermint tea is also one of the teas which are okay for me. But yeah, I usually, my absolute favorite tea is chai. Also like lots of black and green teas, but I can't drink them too late because otherwise I will never sleep. So usually it's spicy teas. Well, is there anything else you can tell me about this Under Tavern?
Well, it's guarded by a grouchy-seeming dwarf named Papa Thrash.
Thrash?
But he's a real sweetheart once you get to know him. I love that password of his. Open minds and closed fists.
That sounds handy to know. Especially because I think we're soon going to that tavern. You know, we've been on the road for a while now. I'd like to hear where you grew up.
I'm from the deserts of Mezd originally. My parents died when I was very young, no more than a cub.
But yeah, that's the backstory behind the name Ban Mast. I think it's just from Mast, basically.
They were spice merchants, killed by bandits as we were trading on the forest roads. The elves nearby saved me afterwards. They found me hiding in a wagon and they took me in.
Ifan bites his lip, hard enough to draw blood.
They were my home until I was old enough to join the Order. Mother Melody always said I'd have a hard life. She saw it as fact, since I was born under the waxing moon.
Kind of interesting how it almost sounds like, oh, well, it sounds exactly like Melody, our half-demon helping us. Born under the waxing moon. It is actually an elven thing. To tie the moon phase to your personality, so kind of like a horoscope. So Lavender would know. I don't think any of us here in the chat, and including me, know what kind of moon was there when we were born, right? Which do we take? I don't know, let's just go with the full moon. Ah, interesting. I was born under the full moon.
Ah, a lively one. Generous and high-spirited.
Yeah, I think that actually sounds fitting. You know, sounds about right.
I've been striving my whole life to prove mine wrong. To, zero success. So far.
The big question now is, what does the waxing moon mean? Ifan, I want answers, but I can't ask. You know, I was wondering, how did you get your wolf moniker Silver Claw?
Ifan smirks and shakes his head.
I'll spare you the tall tales we usually tell. When a new cub joins up with the lone wolves, we interrogate them. Then, a very complex equation decides their new moniker. I don't remember all the questions, but I remember enough to give you a lone wolf name if you want one. So tell me this, which of these scenes attracts you the most?
It sounds like those online quizzes, like, what's your Sphero name? Just answer those 6 questions or something. Probably one question for the color and one for the noun. Okay. Be Lavender's answer. What would be your answer, people in the chat? What would you answer to that? Lavender doesn't really like it hot, and actually likes people around, but more like the secluded elven lives, so the opera doesn't fit. So I would say alone and shaded by the forest canopy would be the most fitting. Yeah, right, there's online personal quizzes. Absolutely. You know, if I could really choose, I think alone and shaded by the forest canopy. I step silent by soft brush underfoot.
Ifan nods and raises his eyebrows, a slight smile brightening his face.
Get approval for that?
And then, target in sight, what's your preferred execution method?
The last one sounds like an Astarion line. Darling, please. I prefer to manipulate others to do my dirty work for me. Yeah, definitely the magical touch, I think. You know, I don't really care. Calling down elements or calling up demons. I prefer the magical touch.
Right.
Are you judging me?
Ifan scrawls something on a little piece of paper and hands it to you. On the page in thick black letters is written Silver Feather.
Oh, nice! We could have gotten the same moniker. I wonder what Ifan's answer would have been. Probably the unseen one? Close enough.
Not as pant-wettingly fearsome as Silverclaw, but not bad. Not bad at all.
But I don't think you want a moniker including feather. Just to guess. So, you grew up in the forest. Do you have, like, any tricks you could teach me?
For sure. Always carry a snack.
What?
Ifan reaches into his tunic pocket and pulls out a strip of dried raw meat. He takes a tiny bite and offers the rest to you.
Lavender gingerly accepts the jerky.
Now, what else do I have to share?
What else do you have in those pockets?
Ifan rummages around the roll-down tops of his boots and grins in victory as he plucks a single mushroom from the folds.
Looking at the Drudene story just a few moments ago, what kind of mushroom?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
He hands you the mushroom with great ceremony, bowing as he holds it aloft.
Wizard's hat? Definitely sounds like drugs. So, am I supposed to eat the mushroom raw too?
Oh, I wouldn't. This one's not for eating.
Mm-hmm. Saw right through you. Silver Feather isn't bad, kinda sounds like a master thief. True, I think as a moniker for a lone wolf it sounds wrong, because it's not threatening enough, I'd say. But in general, true. Like unseen, unheard. I think it could be a cool moniker depending on your profession. Lol, raw meat and mushrooms, your worst nightmare. It's okay, it's from Ifan.
But I'll tell you, it comes in handy if you're dining with someone who really needs to lose their life. And soon.
Oh, it's not the fun kind of mushroom, it's the poisonous type of mushroom.
Ifan smiles and looks around before reaching high into his sleeve and pulling out a tiny herbal wrap. The unmistakable scent of Drudene hits you as he holds it out to you.
And he has everything on his person.
The last weapon in the lone wolf arsenal. You know, for after the toughest jobs.
Wanna share?
He winks and tips his fingers to his temples before loping off.
Oh.
Well now, how's my favorite god woken?
I like the new greeting.
Ifan claps
Very
you on the
cute.
shoulder and beams at you, affection for you plain in his eyes.
See, what a fun talk. And we once again increase the attitude. So yeah, I would say let's check with the others what they are going to tell. Especially everything about Beast and Sebille will be new, so we're going to do the others first and the best for the last. Well, the most interesting, at least for me. Best was already Ifan.
Oh, hey.
Also interesting, say you'd like to talk about some of the people you've met lately. Usually, it sounds like a very general thing for companions, but we can just do that with her. You know, I'd like to talk about some of the people we've met lately.
What, this old gaggle of weirdos?
Quite some of them. So, what do you think about Melody?
Oh, she's all right. A lot of bark, but I think she really cares about what we're doing. Better that than a sweetheart who'd sooner watch you walk off a cliff than shout, "Look out!"
Yeah, remains the question, what exactly does Melody want out of the whole thing? But she definitely seems like she has an own agenda. So, what do you think about my Ceciva? You didn't really meet her that long.
My kind of salty old crank. She certainly seems to want to help us. You don't get many of those in life. I've learned to appreciate them where I find them.
And, you know, I was also thinking about, is there anyone from home you're missing?
I don't know about home, but I do sort of miss the gang I travel with now and then. Crawler, Madcap, Papa Joris for sure. Musicians mostly. We all had our own stories, our own troubles, but when we were together and the music was with us, it was like none of that mattered at all.
Oh, like a bard band. Traveling bard band.
When you have people like that around you, you know, a family, even rain feels like sunshine.
I wonder, we know how she was caught, like doing the performance and then people went mad, which is a reference to her source ability. I do wonder if her crew was also around when that happened.
Just when I think this land holds no more surprises, I find myself in some place even more dismal than the last.
Cheer up.
Still, at least this is an interesting variation on dismal.
You do know, your mask. It's really quite interesting and convincing. Cool thing.
Well, of course it is. It was crafted with care. 100% ethically harvested from mortals, too. The quality is second to none.
I don't know how ethically harvested those faces really are, looking at Fane. I do wonder, how did you ethically harvest faces?
Oh, you simply wait until the creature is dead, preferably of natural causes. Although that does limit your choices somewhat. You may end up with quite a few sagging faces. I will never understand why you have so readily accepted aging, or digestion. They are frightful pastimes.
What? You don't like food? And I mean, once again, he doesn't really have a face himself, right? And I mean, if you could just reject aging, I'd do that. But dude, you also look quite aged. Do you really need your face if you're dead? True, that's a good point. Oh, then I guess you really must be enjoying battlefields, right?
Up to a point, certainly. They are frightfully loud, but the selection afterwards is quite good. The faces are often what you might call fixer-uppers, but they're young and quite serviceable, if you get them before the flies do. Poison is preferred, of course. No marks to the face, the subject can be of any age, and death is often quite peaceful.
Yeah, and this is the point one would say, are they ethically harvested?
Not for them, of course, but it's significantly more relaxing for me.
Mm-hmm. Well.
Not much of a landlubber, but sometimes I get no choice in the matter. Besides, there's business to take care of.
Beast actually is the only one so far who doesn't have any new dialogue.
Yes.
You know, I was wondering how you ever managed to escape from your master.
Huh. A tale of cloaks and daggers and daredevilry. Are you up for it?
Is that like donating your body to science? I don't think so, because I think if you donate your body to science, you sign something. I don't think Fane's resources have actually signed something before. Lavender nods. You know, I'd love to hear that.
Wonderful.
She bows with thespian flair.
Let's see.
Imagine a black room. It's been your room for years. You know it by touch more than sight, for it's always dark. And when I say always dark, I mean always dark. You're either in the room or in the box, for it's in the box that you travel. You're only let out at night because you only hunt in the night, with the Master's voice in your ears urging you on. And after it's done, you lie down in the box once more, with wet hands and mad red thoughts.
How horrible. And yeah, just looking at the second option, I was just like, you're remarkably sane and put together for living such a life. A box. Or are you still sane?
Sometimes it's best to let sleeping questions lie. The thing is, the box didn't break me, though I confess it taught me to hate.
Visits.
One night, I killed a scholar. With my needle through his fragile old skull, he fell headfirst upon his writing desk, blood mingling with spilt ink. It's when I saw the ink that timid thoughts of rebellion first bloomed. Back in my dark room, I dipped my needle that killed the scholar in his own ink, and engraved his name in my skin.
Is that the point where she started doing those lines, those names on her both arms? Why?
I'd remember him. I'd honor him with vengeance. His name was the first, but many more followed.
So, as a form of honoring them, she couldn't resist to not kill them? You know, might I see the name?
Of course.
She bares her left arm and shows you the name. You softly run your finger across it.
Mindarin. He was Turashar, a keeper of stories. I'm sure he was loved by many. People like him, the beloved dead, they kept me going.
Interesting.
Then, one day, it happened. A gush of wind, a sliver of light. Light! I hardly knew it for what it was.
All life and darkness.
A simple oversight that comes with habit. A door, left slightly ajar. That was all I needed to feel a rush of blood, a thirst for liberation like never before. I tore at the shackles that kept me chained to the floor, iron thick as a smith's wrists. Of course they wouldn't budge, they never did before. But now that I saw the light, something welled up inside me, a raw and undeniable burst of power. The shackles broke, and next thing I knew, I was free. I stood alone outside the ruins of a fortress, snow-capped peaks all around me.
I wonder what happened so that the light would come through.
But the sun, oh, the sun. I had risen as if from the grave, and she kissed me back to life.
So you were just standing in the middle of nowhere. What happened next?
Why, I traveled back to civilization and had myself a long, luxurious bath.
First a bath and then looking for vengeance. But I mean, if she has the tattoo on her cheek, which allows her master to control her, how does she plan on fighting him? I mean, wouldn't he just be able to control her again through this lizardy magic? I mean, in the end, the same thing which is happening to the Lady Vengeance? I don't know if we can find out a way to break it, or if we have to confront her master without her. You know, another thing I was wondering is, why do you kill with a needle? Why not use a sword or a dagger? Or any kind of normal weapon?
I was given my needle by the master. Guess I'm just sentimental like that.
I mean, if she was supposed to be an assassin, why did he give her a needle? Come on, there has to be more to that.
Fine, if it means that much to you.
She draws her needle and holds it up between thumb and index finger.
Go on. Ever so gently touch the tip.
Oh. Is it like surprisingly sharp? Very well. Lavender reaches out and lightly places a finger on the needle's tip.
Barely have you touched the needle's pinpoint surface when a thick droplet of blood wells up from your fingertip.
Sharp little minx, isn't she? Sebille, this needle was forged in an altogether different world. It wasn't wrought upon a crude anvil hammered into shape with rough blows. No, it was cast with demon precision. It is absolutely priceless, and it's yours.
Like a demonic weapon.
The Master's own words. And he was right. As an instrument of assassination, it's absolutely priceless. But one day soon, he'll find out just how much he overspent on his gifts for little old me. Just why this needle is a girl's best friend.
A very common saying.
One might say I'm a bit of a sucker for poetic justice.
Oh well. Okay, the question is, where to go next? Go and explore he once more, but the first time. Yeah, I remember those huge unveiling of Fog of War, because I mean we're standing here and it looks like we already explored all of that. Same for the graveyard here. Just walked until here and we can see all of that. Say, let's start by going to the Meister's house, because that's the main quest. Do that before shopping and talking to all the people here. I mean, she certainly has something to do for us, especially because Melody sent us to her. Ah, you can also just walk here through the water.
The Meister's back! The Meister's back! She doesn't feel like playing, but...
Dialogue doesn't offer that I can play with you, so I guess that's it.